I'm that girl who wants to start doing these sessions, not at my 6 a.m. Oh, daylight savings has still got a grip on our family, and that is okay, right? That is absolutely okay. And it makes me ponder perhaps I should be doing these sessions later in my evening in about 12 hours time. That may be something I'll look forward to seeing how that flows. And in saying that, when I wake up, I still constantly feel like I'm getting all these messages of information that they're wanting me to consciously remember about what I should be sharing with you today. And a very interesting dream that I had about a plane, actually a group of planes trying to shift dimensions. And I've tried many, many, many times. And it's interesting because it's like they're showing me the passengers being absolutely freaking terrified as they were shifting into a new dimension, the half dozen first few times that they tried this. And now they've done this so regularly, the passengers are not even flinching. They're just like, going with the road, going with the show. And actually they're getting so fed up now. They're just wanting to like shift, which is interesting, right? Very interesting. So I'll explore that potentially when I have the time. So this is going to be a quick one today. Very interesting, what has been coming out in sessions always, right? I'm still doing sessions very regularly. Often it's just to support a client and their family and their line of other lifetimes here and their other family members here always. And it's, it's fascinating time to support people in this incredible situation, right? When you choose to come into a planet and you know that this is the very last lifetime you're going to be able to experience in this dimension on this planet, you pack in a lot of stuff. Absolutely, you do. And so it's very interesting, people's choices of what they need to cram into a last lifetime here. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. So isn't it funny, or not funny because it's never really amusing, is it? When we notice and hear and learn about people from sessions about their agendas for humanity. And it always is a reflection on their lack of inner work, right? Or their lack of perspectives, or their limitations of perspectives, I should say. And so it was very interesting to sort of see how. And of course, we can send much love to everyone, right? There's no point thinking about someone with disdain because they will feel their energy. And if we're wanting them to be motivated to be better human beings without judgmental, better for humanity beings, there's no point sending bitterness towards them, right? Because they will be feeling that regardless of whether we know how our energy impacts everyone. Right? We just think, well, I'm just going to be an absolute judgmental bitch in the privacy of my own home as I scour and think really poorly of heaps of other people because, I'm bitter and twisted. So when you do that, it sends out that energy to them because you're thinking of them. You actually are calling in their consciousness and their energy that you're noticing, because we're all one. And while many of you don't notice or trust the connections that you have with other conscious minds, you may be going to the conscious door of someone and saying, giving them a good old bollocksing, right? But because they've also got their doors closed, they're not open to translating and having telepathic communication with you. They're just going to feel all of that energy without the words. They may even be, focusing not on you and someone else, and they may actually then translate their energy to something else that's in their physical day where they have found that energy. So, this is why we've got to be really mindful of our thoughts, right? Absolutely, really mindful. And when we were connecting in with Buddha, this is what my go-to message was to him, which I really heard. I do have to listen to that session again properly because I was doing lots of other things when I was in the background. There's that. But my takeaway was, remember the energy, we send out energy and it delivers every single time. It delivers, right? Because we're such powerful beings. So if we're going to be scathing to certain celebrities who are in court cases right now, or we're going to be scathing certain billionaires who are just not healing the world, but buying applications to play with that are Twitter tweets or something, they're going to feel that, right? And what a waste of our energy as well. We can just accept, and we just have to understand and ask in sessions in terms of free, what can you change? Can your frustrations with someone change them? If you come from an approach of frustration, judgment, and anger, could you ask your subconscious, if you keep sending that energy out, all frustrated about them, would that motivate them to change? Would that trigger them into change or something else? Right? How do you want the world to look? And how do you want these people that are playing in your reality? What are you wanting from them? Right? So we know with our children, when we motivate them with fun games and praising them to celebrate, to have better choices about their behaviors when they want to have tantrums about brushing their teeth or not, we know if we went in with a tough approach and grumpiness, they're going to be spitting that toothpaste all around the frickin' bathroom, my friends, the frickin' bathroom, everywhere. It's a choice. Anyway, so you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so listen back to the Buddha message. Delightful man, delightful energy, I should say. He is definitely a big energy being now. And it's very interesting because, we all sort of assume that it should be easy, right? You just dedicate a whole entire life to be able to reach nirvana, or just to reach that inner peace and acceptance. And even he was sort of saying, God, that would be a huge feat for him to have done it in this day and age. Right? I'm assuming he had lots of other lifetimes and preparations to find that balance and neutral, but it's a fascinating energy being, that's for sure. So anyway, what we've discovered about the Litman test guy, let's just call him that, he doesn't have any ill will on humanity at all. He wants to actually, again, sort of guide and lead humanity, right? Seems very similar to that guy, that Twitter guy. So it's very interesting, right? The agendas behind these big influencers. Now, don't get me wrong, I certainly am not a man hater by any stretch of the imagination, because we do know lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of females who have also done a lack of inner work to be able to get the true information that we're getting in sessions, right? Because the blessing of sessions is you put Mr. Ego, what did Dolores Cannon used to call it, Mr. Stupid. Right. And she wasn't just talking about men's Mr. Stupid. She was also talking about women's Mr. Stupid. Right. And I see a lot of people pretending to channel Mr. Stupid, right? Their egos. They're constantly pretending that they are giving you high dimensional, high perspective information, and it's just their egos. So check what lack of check. It's so hard, right? How can you tell someone who's on YouTube or whatever, pretending to be this big channeler, this big whatever? Can you tell what inner work they're lacking? Because it's kind of hard, right? When you're a little bit of a novice and you don't know energy so much, you're not reading it with true integrity yourself, because you're a little bit dismissive of the information you're getting energetically. It can be really hard for people, right? So this is why I love exploring in the ends of sessions for my clients. Who do they listen to subconscious that you would like to speak to? Fascinating, right? Always fascinating when the subconscious comes in and tells the clients through their own bodies and gives them their opinions of what their subconscious is viewing, certain influences and certain information. I know many times the subconscious has said, oh my gosh, you need to stop listening to so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, because they're full of ego and it's a really limited perspective. And they've got another hidden agenda of what they're wanting. They're wanting money for their videos. They're wanting fame. They're wanting attention. They want to be special unicorns, blah, 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 blah. And it really surprised the client, right? Because they love these people and it's really hard for them to understand why on earth suddenly would they say out of their mouths that the influencers were not of high integrity. Right. Because the thing is that when you're in these sessions and you're fully at the end of these sessions, as you've relaxed into them, it's not your conscious mind. It's not your Mr. Stupid speaking, right? Your Mr. Stupid is ruling your life 99% of the time until you have a session that 1% of the time. And then the subconscious graciously gets to squish in and start talking to you about different perspectives that you may not have been aware of, to be able to help and assist and guide you. And this is what was really interesting that came out of a session, I can't remember now, but I think it's public, about the subconsciouses, the guides. You have many people have sort of newbie guides, right? This is their first rodeo. This is their first time sort of helping assist, because everyone's learning, right? We're learning and experiencing the 3D as is. And then our high dimensional beings, they're also learning how to support and guide humans who have completely shut them down, ghosting them and ignoring the crap out of them and ignoring their own senses, dismissing them, and actually blindly trusting other people who are full of shit, right? So it must be really, really, really hard for the guides to be able to reach everyone. But, all purposeful. I'm sure they've got support teams, and it's not just one collective or one guide that's trying to help you or everyone. I feel like there's always quite a lot of groups, but you've got to be able to communicate with groups and let all the groups know what's going on. And so if they're super busy, which they feel like they always are, they may have some big influences like that man that they were talking about the other day, who had tripped into ego and was here to help with the shift on this planet. But as we know, that's outdated information, and it cannot contain like that, cannot continue on like that. And we've asked so many ways and reasons and questions about this in sessions, and the subconscious has always said, that we cannot do that. And if there was a moment or I heard or got a suggestion ever that this was going to change, I would definitely be sharing that information, because that's really big new information, right? So I have heard in sessions people say that the best they're going to have in the new earth they're going to have is here, but it's really going to be the old earth experience. It's not the new earth at all by any stretch of the imaginations, but it's because of where the collective is, who the collective is, who they are, and what they wanted to learn in this experience, right? So it gets a bit tricky when we hold on to labels and make huge amounts of assumptions about these sessions. You've really got to listen and understand if it's the client or a client's Mr. Ego, Mr. Stupid, or whether it's the subconscious, right? So, this is why it's really good to be able to have a great relationship with your clients and to be able to get many sessions with them to be able to really explore it, right? Because a lot of the clients, sometimes when they hear certain big information, get shit fucking scared, right? They don't want to hear it truly. They think they do. They think they're going to be mature. They think they've got a spiritual, great perspective, and they're totally... It's like they tap into who they really are, their biggest soul essence. But then, they understand that they're this big being, and then they're still here in this daily life. They still get a really strong sense we're shifting, and they know that, and they're very comfortable with that. But when it comes to them personally having sessions, they freeze, they freak out, because it's confirming the stuff they already intuitively know. They just don't want the confirmation, because what do you do with it next? Because it's a lot to apply this information and live in balance and neutral. That's for sure. We've all been there, right? We're all at that journey of accepting this information, one scale or another. And it's not trendy, right? Telling people that the new earth is not on this planet doesn't seem to be trendy, right? Because there's so many influences speaking through their pie holes and channeling their Mr. Stupids and telling you that information. This is why I say, don't trust me, don't trust Dolores's work. Go get your own sessions and get as many as you can and explore it as often as you can. Why not, right? Why not test this out? Why not challenge the system? Why not challenge your subconscious? Why not you challenge these quantum sessions? You know, this is all on you. You're having to actually be responsible for your own information and actually do the work and actually find those interns, all those practitioners, and actually surrender into the sessions and get these answers that have you know, you're pondering, when did the change between it being 5D here to now no longer being 5D here in the physical, and that we have to be evacuated? You know, those are really great questions. Ask your subconscious, why the heck are you here? Why is the significance here? Are you going to have any other lifetimes here? All of those really big questions should be explored in sessions, right? Plus all your inner work that you may or may not have explored, right? So, you know, use these to your advantage. You know, while we've got the time, why not? If you're sticking, or you're feeling like you're not expanding, or you're not able to process or focus on 3D living now, while you've got this all higher perspective, you know, how do you maintain that? You know, it's a juggle, it's a balance, and it may not, how I process it may not look like how you process it, right? So this is why you can't just, you know, take my word for it. You should really be all having your own sessions and empowering yourselves with the sessions. And I understand when we have our own sessions and big information just slips out, how do you process that? When the subconscious is gone and, you know, they've just dumped a whole lot of big information on your lap in your session, and you and your practitioner are like, whoa, so what? What now? How do we unpack that? How do we not freak out with that? Right? It gets quite, it's quite a relationship builder. Let's just say that. So, yeah, fascinating times. So don't be shy. You know, your subconsciouses are really wanting you to be able to really respect them and really connect in with them. There was something else I really needed to say today, and I'm trying to think what it was. I'll just go in and collect one word, because it feels like this is just going to be the easiest way for me to do that. So it just seems like, you know, there's a big jumble of words, because they're just like, oh gosh, yes, great. They all need to hear support. You all need to support yourselves, and you need to support others with unconditional love. We've heard that heaps of times, right? But actually they mean it. So let's really, truly, honestly unpack what we're doing to people. Are we honestly supporting them, or are we taking them for granted? Or are we judging them, right? Like it's a hobby, but they're really wanting you to have honest integrity and looking at the way you're supporting people. Then it's trust. They really want you to trust yourselves and your intuition. But remember, if you're going to try and trust your intuition while you've got a massive pile of yuck, they're saying a pimple, right? So your skin is a layer of trust, and your inner work is this massive boil, right? And so you are sort of, some people who haven't done enough of their inner work are trying to trust that the stability of the skin is all good and balanced and in neutral, when there is a massive volcano of pus about to explode. And so there is instability there, and you're trying to balance trust on that skin layer. Gross, right? And they're just like, they're just saying, pop those pimples and get over it and get on with it, and do that inner work, and clear out all that pus, and you know, oh, and they're now saying, lots of you like to just pick your pimples, but not actually like clear the pimples. I say don't pick at all, but in this analogy where they're saying pick the pus, is the pus that they're referring to is your inner work. Disgusting, right? So let's get on with it, right? Let's just cleanse and clear your faces, and your they're saying people can get pimples on their butts. So that's great, isn't it? Fantastic times. This is where they're at today. So okay, well, if anything, could be deciphered and heard through this conversation today. It's very purposeful, and you need to explore that and unpack that. So face your fears, figure out what your fears still are. Actually, that would be a really great way to find your triggers and your points of expansion. So, and when I say this, I mean it. Please, please, please love yourselves. Please. And while you're doing that, empowerment is fantastic. It's super trendy right now. Definitely looks fantastic on you all. And why not, while you're loving yourselves with the maximum empowerment of self, be able to love and support others who you know are also struggling to either find love for themselves or empower themselves. And when you see that there are other people trying their best to be of service to humanity, why not acknowledge that? Why not support them and encourage them? Because you see them, you know how much inner work they've done. You may even see inner work that's still left over for them to do. But when we are silently observing the world, we're not participating. And it seems like our subconsciouses are please asking us to please all participate in all of the good things we see. Focus on all the good and all the empowering things we see. Be everyone's cheerleaders while being our own cheerleader. Interesting. Okay. Love you guys. Have a fantastic day. Please drink lots of water and enjoy, enjoy, enjoy.